We started with 256 team spots, and now we have just 2 here for the 3rd week of the Overwatch Open. This is the European region, and our grand final is locked in. Let me set the scene for you. Reunited are in the grand final 2 times in a row. First, they fall to Rogue. It was a 3-1 score in favor of Rogue, who are now locked in for the playoffs. Now Reunited have an opportunity to, well, be reunited with that playoff spot. They have an opportunity to actually get it this time. Standing in their way is a surprising adversary, LG. They have basically had a little bit of a dream run, walking through this bracket with relative ease, even in the game we did just witness. The semi-final, which I'll let ZP quickly touch on. You got to witness that one and experience that. LG versus Creation. You were flying the Creation flag, you know, all good and proper. LG in the grand final, unexpected.
It's absolutely unexpected. What went on King of the Hill, clearly there's a bit of a weakness there for Creation on Ilios. It did not work out well for them. Yeah. I thought they'd bring it back on payload, and they were in the process of doing that. They were saying a very good time, and then they sort of petered out in Streets phase. Sure. And at the end, when they had the opportunity to win, they weren't able to do it. LG, of course, has been playing very strong. You can't take away from them. I thought Creation came in a little bit weak. But you compare now between LG and Reunited, you go off what we know of these two teams, you'd still have to favor Reunited, and yet it's also a grand final. Reunited has historically had trouble here, so this would be, I feel like this just adds even more pressure on the Reunited to perform here and solidify themselves like, look, we are one of the teams to beat. We are one of the top teams here because if LG surges through and actually takes out Reunited here, that's going to be rough.
And I don't want to fall into cliches and everything, but I do think this grand final could have a lot to do with momentum and seeing where LG, what form they do kind of hit the ground running with. Before we talk to you, John, I do want to quickly introduce everyone to the format once more. So let me go ahead and thrust that in your face and see exactly what I'm talking about. This is it. Open brackets. That's what it's all about. This is the dream scenario. You guys can all play. You can sign up. Any group of 6 can go ahead and compete. That's at FACEIT.com where you'll find all of that, as well as at OverwatchOpen.com. But this is how it does play out. You'll see that group stage there. It's that GSL style bracket, 4 groups per region. Of course, this is the playoffs they keep talking about. And through the playoffs, 16 teams will be in the live finals in the E-League arena. That's awesome. That's in Atlanta. And now this is what the EU leaderboards do look like. It's not just those 4 spots on the left-hand side. You can see 2 of them already held by the aforementioned Rogue and Misfits, but also the points. And actually, you know what? Some of these are looking like clear-cut spots already. Anox, after a fantastic week 1 and 2, have got themselves 30. We've seen them fall short this time. Reunited, we talk about them. We'll be seeing them in the grand final. Can they do it the easy way or the hard way? The hard way, of course, being through those points. We'll see 4 teams qualify through points alone. NIP, their performance today was important. Getting themselves to the semi-final is going to be giving them a nice bucket load of points coming into the final week, where they can try and get ever closer to that playoffs spot. And this is where we're at right now, a best of 5. Reunited previously dispatching of the newly picked up NIP, and Creation versus Luminosity, which, surprisingly, as we already touched on, went the way of LG, X2 Strong. It's a best of 5, and John has yet to say a single word, so fortunately, I'm going to throw you under the bus, mate. Are you ready for this? Are you ready for me to throw you under the bus?
I guess so.
You just said,
is it a big bus?
In passing, this was completely not on air and not broadcast, but John did just say, this is going to be a damn quick grand final. You have to tell us why you said that.
Okay, I will. So, Reunited, I think Andrew touched on this a little bit.
Sure.
They do have a little bit of a history of choking in their finals. Like, there's no prettier word for it. They have.
Can you think of an example that comes to mind?
Well, pretty much every time. Like last week was the most recent example, but there have been plenty of weeklies. They had trouble actually even getting to the finals. Takeover, a couple of offline events since. There's just been about 5 or 6 major events where it's very difficult for them to actually come through there. And quite often, getting to a grand final for one of these other teams has always been, oh, this is great. We're here. We're actually going to punch through. We're going to actually pull our weight. And they've been able to take out Reunited. And now I feel like LG, on paper, even though there was a bit of an upset win over Creation Esports, I honestly do think they are the weakest team that we've seen Reunited face off against in a little while. And when I say weakest, I'm talking about, like, you know, a team that's 9 out of 10.
So you're saying, like, just while I have you, you're saying that NIP are stronger than LG?
No, I'm saying that LG compared to Reunited in a final is possibly the greatest disparity between 2 teams in a final that we've seen in a while. And that's still like 9 out of 10 playing against a 7 out of 10 or something like that. There's absolutely no disrespect to the Luminosity team. In fact, I think they've actually been the standout team of this tournament because they've been newly picked up. Yep. They have a point to prove. They were previously, quote-unquote, middle tier, and they are punching above their weight right now and really taking it to the higher teams. But based on the way we saw Reunited play in the first semi-final, It would be the choke to end all chokes to say, we're going to deny you that.
And you know what? Sometimes you think in a best of 3, anything can happen. It's going to be quick. It's going to be a little raucous. Instead, we find ourselves in a best of 5, and that's where really the team that is a cut above will prove it. Gibraltar. I was about to call it Gibraltar. I used to play a game mode called Insta-Gib. Maybe that's where that's coming from. Numbani, Route 66, Ilios, and Hollywood. So we do get to see Route 66, which often will crop up when the map pool gets a little wider into a best of 5. How much slack do you give LG here, ZP? Are you in the 3-0 John Stomp boat?
That sounds 3-0
I'd like
John.
to be in that
I mean,
boat.
I could see that as an option that comes in here. And on paper, that maybe is the most likely option. But on the same note, LG was playing really well going into this. Icefeld certainly was playing out of his mind. And again, it really depends how much of that monkey is on Reunited's back for winning.
Are we really going to already stop giving them the curse tag? Is that where we're at?
I'm giving them the curse tag. You have to understand, I've watched Reunited for months and months now. I've seen them from everything from weeklies to invite leagues, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
Reunited has trouble winning when it counts at the very end. So until they actually win here today and we can sort of go, okay, they've done it, we'll see how it goes. I mean, really, of course, this goes back when Too Easy on the team way back when, but I think one of their first, it was like a weekly win or, no, actually, it was a Russian tournament or something that they won. Right. And Too Easy made a tweet saying, finally, we won. So just so you know the mindset that goes into Reunited, even way back when.
And just before I add my 2 cents, I will note that the bus has now become a boat, which is excellent.
So no, I threw you under a bus,
Under a bus.
And then what happened was the bus pushed you into the water where you're now within the boat, the 3-0 boat.
So I'm now on a boat.
Yes.
I like that a lot better than being under the bus, just for the record. I do think this is where Reunited break the curse, if you like. I can't. If you just said LG had a standout performance, Reunited are in the final, with no other information, I would go, okay, this could be quite interesting. But Gibraltar, I believe, is going to be first. 255. I'm just going to leave it at that.
I'm so glad you said that. That was going to be my next point. I mean, we have to quickly. I mean, we've probably got a whole lot of new faces since the semi-final. Internet viewers, we come and we go, and I'm sure you're all well and truly aware of that. So we're just going to kind of remind you of what happened in the semi-final. It was the first one of the broadcast. We got to see what Reunited were capable of on Gibraltar. Now, guys, you just said the number already. 255. I'll let ZP explain it. He'll explain it much better than me. But me and him were just sitting there making all sorts of noises in the green room going, I can't quite believe how fast this is.
Yeah, 255 on Gibraltar, that would be, to put in perspective, on much smaller maps, like, say, Kings Row or whatnot, a sub-3-minute time would be incredible and just mind-boggling. But to go forward and do that on Gibraltar, a map that has 10 total minutes, where you usually see times of anywhere from 6 to 8 minutes, usually more on the 8-minute side, to come in and do that in under 3 minutes is absolutely insane, because usually teams are really good at defending in those situations, and they weren't able to, certainly the NIP defense wasn't able to deal with it.
Did they wipe once? Can you remember? I was trying to think how they did it so quickly.
Valutaja, Diva.
That was I mean, he didn't die on that. Yeah. No. And that was something that we haven't seen him on before. Admittedly, their defense looked a little kind of meh. A little kind of flimsy. I'm trying to remember.
I would argue that was the 2020 format of the Overwatch game. It was rather fast.
Okay.
Not too much in the way of defense, just both teams batting it out the park. It was actually quite fun.
A cricket analogy. I like that. About 4 viewers understood that, including the cricket player we have in the studio. We're going to be looking at Gibraltar, though. It's our first map of a best of 5. You made it abundantly clear, guys, but I do want to quickly probe for predictions. You said 3-0. Am I holding you to that?
Realistically, 3-1. I want to see one standout performance from LG, but I feel like Reunited have got the momentum, and I really don't think they're going to throw it away today.
And ZP, I mean, how much credit do you give LG here?
I mean, I give LG a lot of credit. They've been surging, but I kind of have to concur with the 3-1 thing, although I couldn't even see it 3-0 for Reunited if they come out very strong. And yet, there's going to be that part of me that if LG wins map 1, I'm just going to be going, here we go again.
Here we do go again. It's another grand final, the third for European region here for the Overwatch Open. ZP and John, a full best of 5 to dissect to see what Reunited can break the curse.
All right, so we're here on Watchpoint Gibraltar. Alex going to be heading on back to the green room. I'll need to be careful what I say back there from now on. And are we going to see another incredibly exciting push? I don't know. Reunited are actually going to be starting up on the defense here. So Luminosity, I'm sure they would have watched the first semi-final. They would have gone, hang on a second, this could be a problem for us.
Yeah, you would think, especially given how Gibraltar went, but clearly they're okay with playing on Gibraltar as we are in here right now. Both teams setting up, offense now on its way. And take a look here, they will be running Roadhog here on the offense. So Manitin on the Hog, and we'll see if this works out. used to be seen all the time, not as much anymore as Zen, but still sometimes very deadly.
Indeed he is, and he's already on flanker duty, just looking for soft targets to potentially pick off and hook in from Reunited. Killing off Kib very early on, for example, on Genji would be very, very useful in order to get to the second point, but not able to do that at the moment. Looks like Reunited sitting back, Valutaja being very patient on the high ground there. We're now moving in for a little bit of CQB. We're speeding on in. There goes Winston into Ruster. Shield still up though for Luminosity, and we are going to get a little bit of backing off.
Yep, and take a look at LG right now. They're not forcing this too much. They are all taking low ground route, which is interesting. Sometimes people go from the top, go in the server room, and go along that way. But both teams right now just trailing off poke. Not a bad defense from Reunited here so far, but here comes LG moving in right now. They go into the server room. They're setting up, and for now, they're backing up and not full engaging. That's just looking for positioning.
Yeah, very patient from the Luminosity so far this game. Reunited as well, not looking for a full collapse, giving Luminosity a lot of respect here, not just saying we're going to come on in and wipe the team. And both sides just being very cagey, but it looks like we are getting very, very close now to an engagement having to start, and the tanks are going to be kicking things off.
All right, so they're getting into Kib right now. It already has a Dragon Blade up, almost goes down. Can't pop it just yet. 2 kills here for Reunited. Make it 3, 4 kills for Reunited. And they're going to push us back. Nothing too flashy there. LG dove in, and they just did not get the results they were looking for.
Not at all. Mineral with the spray paint off the back of that. Unfortunately, things not quite going their way at the moment, and Reunited are able to wipe Luminosity before the payload even gets to the second point here. Now, Luminosity are going to be aware of how quickly Reunited were pushing this beforehand. You're right, there was a little bit of dicey defending, but there is nothing to take away from how quickly they can do this. They're moving in for a second time. Transcendence being popped very quickly indeed, and we'll see if Mort is able to make sure Reunited gets points on the board. Kib coming in with a little bit of chopping there, but only getting the opposing Genji to start things off.
Yep, 2 kills here for the defense. Right now they're going back into it. The offense is very aggressive, but now they get punished. Kib into the backline. Valutaja winning that McCree versus McCree battle. And it works out for Reunited. And I'm going to note, by the way, that they still have great ults available for the next fight. Mineral used Sound Barrier there, did not get what he was looking for. Meanwhile, Reunited, they're going to have Sound Barrier up for the next fight. A lot of ways that they can hold this. And for LG, again, it's not the danger zone yet here for Gibraltar, assuming Reunited doesn't go on a tear. But for LG, they really need this next fight to go well. They do have a lot of ults to come up aside from Sound Barrier, so they're going to have to work with this. And we'll see if they can outdo it. But both teams right now getting into it. Sandy going into backline. Here comes Dragon Blade on the way, looking to get to backline. Going to be met with Sound Barrier. Still doesn't care. Going in for Zen. Needs one more slice. Does get it. That's 3 kills right now for the side of LG. They should be able to get the point off this.
And that was literally every ultimate aside from Sound Barrier, actually. We were talking about that just before. So they used all 5 to get into this position. Reunited, if they are able to get set up and be able to pop onto the shuttle in the hangar room, Valutaja will have Deadeye available. We're actually going to be seeing the action starting early. Unfix getting a very early pickoff on Manitin. That's very important for Luminosity because hooking people that use the verticality here in the shuttle room is really, really important. So they're going to have to be taking the fight at the moment on the ground.
Right, and you take a look at what's going on in the next fight here. Reunited will have Deadeye into Transcendence. Transcendence, of course, means that they're going to have to brawl out a little bit more on the payload, take the fight more close up, just given the nature of that ultimate. They should, in theory, be able to stop LG here, and they're going in right now. Here comes the Deadeye up from Valutaja, opening up, looking for those skulls. Transcendence is down. Everyone staying with Morte with the Transcendence, and he picks off Ice Belt. 2 kills here for Reunited, getting into backline on the Zave, and that's going to be Reunited going the hold.
Yep, and it was all about the setup there. They made sure they had the positioning on the shuttle. They also made sure that Valutaja was in a great place to initiate with Deadeye. Transcendence came out very early on in that fight for Luminosity as well, before it was really a full-on brawl. So Reunited could kind of pick and choose at what point they ended up engaging there.
They could, and you take a look here, LG not wasting much time, going back in once more. They do have Sound Barrier at the ready, so they will have a support ult advantage as they move in here. They're on top of the cart. And here comes the Transcendence coming out very early from Zave, not in a position where they're actually on top of people just yet.
No,
and
not quite.
Ruster able to take out Kib, so LG gets first kill, Morte firing right back. 5v5 right now, the fight not actually going full in, but here comes the Sound Barrier from Reunited. They're moving right in. Valutaja takes out Manitin, and they're just going to push Luminosity right back.
They are indeed. They're doing a fantastic job so far, and we've had several full holds. First on the first point there, and now in the shuttle room as well. Reunited really holding Luminosity to task here and saying, you're going to have to work very hard if you want to get through us. Kib already resetting for the next push. Unfixed, possibly looking to get a good position on top of the shuttle. He does have Death Blossom available, so we are going to be looking for the point where the payload gets ever so slightly closer, and that drop is absolutely devastating.
Yeah, and Unfixed, he's certainly going to be waiting for that. Has support in the way of Transcendence and Dragon Blade as well. LG not really coming into this fight with a whole lot, but they move in. Zarya's shield onto Winston, giving Ruster a little bit more durability. But Unfixed with the drop, takes out Mineral, gets the double kill on the Ruster. 3 kills here from Reunited, and it is already over before it can begin here. LG, again, they didn't really come in with a whole lot of ammo there to begin with, though.
No, they didn't at all. And Unfixed basically on cleanup duty at the moment, consuming a couple of souls, and amusingly tea time afterwards as well. I mean, why not have a spot while the other team reloads there? Kib with Dragon Blade available. Now, this isn't something you necessarily drop. You can also dash in, depending on which route the other team wants to take through here, and we'll see what happens. Icefelt will have a lot of mobility on Tracer, but Manitin also can be devastating on Zarya, but they need to get the positioning here.
Yep, and they move right up. Ruster with the Zarya shield on, and they have the Dragon Blade in the back. Sandy looking to be the key to opening us up. Kib, though, with the counter Dragon Blade in the back line, takes out 2 right away. He's finding way more success. That is a triple kill for Kib, setting things up, looking for a little bit more Mineral, saying, get me out of here, and the right click will be finishing him off in the end.
Yep, that get me out of here. I mean, that was a pretty quick compliance, to be perfectly honest. Kib definitely delivering there. And Reunited once more put Luminosity now, maybe more so than the first 2 points here, ZP. They might be going into the danger zone here.
They are absolutely going to the danger zone. Right now, in terms of fights, as you mentioned, they do only have 2 fights left, and this is going to be hard. And look at Reunited. Reunited's in a great position here, not only in the hangar, but also resource-wise. They're about to have 4 ultimates up once Death Blossom comes in. For LG, they're really going to need the Zarya ult of the gods here. Graviton Surge needs to really set them up, and if it doesn't happen, that's going to be it. Volataja right now, getting some skulls, takes out Icefeld immediately. Already at 65, and this is all sorts of rough, John.
Yeah, he doesn't actually mind that he's only taking out 1 or 2 people at the moment. He just wants to be able to get those 6v5, 6v4s, and now we are full on in. Ruster getting cloned from both sides, and Saini picking off crews. In the meantime, Transcendence is now being forced out from Luminosity. They are grouping up around the payload though, so they're looking to try and make this work. 4 members of Reunited are now down, and the coordination looks a lot better this time around from Luminosity. Manitin picking up the punch kill, I believe it was, on Winghaven, and they will be able to get through the shuttle phase.
I'm going to note the interesting part there is that they lost Icefelt in the beginning. It was 65, and they didn't even Graviton to win that fight. They just won it on pure mechanical skill, but here comes Graviton. 3 people sucked in. Here comes Luminosity Gaming staying alive here. The Death Blossom out from Zany takes out 3. Icefelt with the fall through, and ladies and gentlemen, LG is fighting. They are staying alive.
They're staying alive, but how much damage has already been done, ZP? That's the question people are going to be asking right now, because the holds up to this point in the game were really strong from Reunited. But as we all know, Overwatch is a game about momentum, and the momentum is definitely with Luminosity right now. If they are able to absolutely one and done this final point, they can set a time that could end up being difficult for Reunited.
All right, Sunbear does come out here from LG. They're pushing forward. Icefeld on the Winghaven takes him out, so shield tank down here for the defense, and Icefeld just continuing the poke from that, takes out Unfixed. There's a big reason as to why Voltage died. Icefeld now on a triple kill, on a rampage on the ground floor, really opening things up because they got that early Reinhardt pick, and LG is in a great position right now, John.
Look out for Kib. Kib wants to come out and be the hero. He was on top, looking to sneak on down. He needs to buy time for the team. Here he goes. Dragon Blade coming out from Kib. Let's spot where he is right now. Is he able to get the kills off? Winghaven goes down. Kib, still nothing available, and he is dead as well. That could have been Reunited's hope. Transcendence now trying to stall the time, but realistically, these kills are getting staggered. Luminosity will be able to set the time here, and they're blocking off the door. This is payload completely and utterly A-okay.
Yeah, and it was a good defense from Reunited to stall this out this far. They're still looking for a little bit more stalling.
Whoa.
Oh my goodness, hold the phone right now. Kib gets a double kill. Voltage looking for the last moment heroics.
What?
And Reunited might actually be able to hold this out of nowhere. It's so rare to actually see a team come back in. But off the back of Kib, Reunited has held And now LG, where they thought they had the game won, they're going to have to come in with 35 seconds left.
That was absolutely not part of the script, ZP.
No.
That wasn't just done and dusted, we're fine. That was we're basically a meter away from completing there. And Kib, after dying when he collapsed on the team, came back from underneath and somehow, some way, pulled them back from the brink. Amazing stuff there from Reunited.
All right, well, taking a look here, LG, they need to finish this out now. Might be doing it in overtime. Maniton does have Graviton Thray. They open with Earth Shower, get absolutely nothing from it. The Graviton sucks in 2. Here comes Icefeld from the back. He was a hero once before. Not going to be a hero again. The deflect kill takes him out. 2 kills here for Reunited as Kib, once more, going nuts in the backfield, has already taken out 2. Dragon Blade at the ready, looking for a little bit more. Will get the 3rd kill. Kib, the hero, gets the quad. And that's going to be Reunited holding.
I don't believe this.
Oh my goodness.
Luminosity, inches away from completing the map. We had written them off at one point, Reunited, and just out of nowhere, after fluffing the first defense, Kib coming in there not once, but twice, and absolutely nailing the entire Luminosity team.
Kib, we talk about players stepping up and having hero moments. Well, that was a hero moment for Kib because now things are looking pretty up for Reunited going into the next round where they don't have to worry about time at all. All they have to do is complete the map, just about. The payload was not quite at the completion, but it was pretty close. So for Reunited, really good stuff going into this. And for the side of LG is going to have to do a really, really strong defense, which might be hard given what we saw Reunited do just a little bit earlier today.
I mean, if you look back to, remember we mentioned just before, I guess the payload would have been moving on. We saw Kib sort of upstairs kind of jumping around, and we saw a Dragon Blade available. We thought, okay, this is going to be the play from Kib. And then he came down and he whiffed it. He wasn't able to get any kills, and that would have been an example. We would be sitting here right now going, hey guys, you remember those Grand Finals Reunited chokey things we were talking about earlier? Guess what happened? Well, he died, and then he went, no, it does not end like this. I refuse to close the book on this chapter. What an incredible story Reunited are telling us right now.
Absolutely. Well, the only thing here is that there's another story that potentially be told here is that if LG comes out and actually holds before the hangar or holds in the hangar, then for Reunited it's like, oh no, you had that defense and you had that great attack earlier, and then you get to the grand finals and you get held here? Why? So there is that storyline. I think it's much more likely that Reunited completes this map, but again, I think I've seen so much of Reunited over time that I don't... You need to show me.
That would be it. That would genuinely be a great story to tell as well, though. No matter how this ends, we're going to get treated to something rather special here on Watchpoint Gibraltar, and Reunited are now trying to one better Luminosity. Valutaja is once again going to be playing D.Va, looking to come out very, very aggressively to start things off, but won't be able to get any picks early on. Let's see how much respect Luminosity give them in terms of how far away they actually stand. You can see they're still on the ledge. They're being nice and patient, but we do have Ruster waiting to strike.
Yep, and LG right now, they're not going for anything nutty right now, just staying back. Almost sort of a crossfire defense and setup, though not really in terms of the heroes they're running. But they are staying spread out. They're not giving Reunited an easy death ball to go in on. They're trading off poke, but for now, Reunited's happy. They're pushing up the payload quite a bit, but they are getting poked down horribly. 3 members at below 50% HP. This could turn very badly for Reunited in a moment if they do not back off and give LG a little bit of breathing room.
Exactly right, and that's exactly what they do right now, just being a little bit more careful. Need to grab a health pack or two, especially Kib, who's just constantly been targeted down by McCree. Ruster, though, is going to be the first casualty of this engagement, and that is an excellent hook coming out from Maniton. He picks off, more importantly, the support there, and we have Whole Hog coming in against Reunited, immediately popping the Transcendent to try and stop that, and Morta is going to be pushing in now. Kib getting a kill. He's got Dragon Blade to try and turn the tide of this battle, and Wraith Form is going to allow Reaper to survive a little while longer, but Valutaja picks him up anyway.
Icefeld right now trying to be the hero. He's still alive in the back, and McCree that lives this long in team fight can be absolutely deadly. Unfix was going for the Death Blossom, wasn't able to get it, and Icefeld, he's almost fully healed here, and he is going to push back the remaining members of Reunited with the help of Zave. And we've talked about this before, but McCree and Zenyatta, 2 of the very best cleanup heroes in the game. It is all sorts of bad if they do not die early in a team fight, and for Reunited, it was a good attack, but it's not enough, and going to the next fight, ultimate situation can be pretty even between both teams.
It almost feels like Luminosity did an okay job moving in. If we think about it, Ruster was dead, and Mineral got hooked. Lucio got hooked to start the team fight off. There wasn't too much else they could have done there, but hang on a second. We have an immediate Death Blossom coming in here. Very, very aggressive coming out from Reunited. Transcendence now getting bombed by Luminosity as well, but it's going to be minus an Ice Spell, who did have an ultimate available on McCree as well. Manitin now getting chased down on Fix, looking for that big kill. Not able to find it, but Kib in the meantime is picking them up. Has he got that ultimate available as well? No, that's actually straight up from the Shurikens.
Yep, is back and forth right now. Both teams 5v5. Unfixed, though, does take out his counterpart, Insanity. That's going to give Reunited a momentum advantage here. Kib not wasting it, gets the backline, takes out Icefeld. This is going to be Reunited's point, and again, this is a long time to defend for LG, in the sense that so long as there's game time left, there is an opportunity for Reunited to win this game. So for LG, they just need to hope to reset in the hangar phase sooner rather than later and not chain deaths, as Reunited is looking very aggressive right now, deep into the hangar phase, and they want to stop that from happening.
So here's a question for you, ZP. If you're Luminosity, and you've got those 1 or 2 picks off on Reunited, but maybe it isn't quite Zenyatta or McCree. I mean, we don't actually have a McCree at the moment. Do you still go into that fight 6v5 thinking, actually, we have that pick off, we have to take this, or do you wait until the Zenyatta's more vulnerable?
1 second, hold that thought. Here comes Kib going into the back line, moving in with the Dragon Blade. It's 1 kill here for Reunited, 2 kills. Kib on a rampage, gets the double kill, looking for a little bit more. And for Reunited, this might be all they need to get through the hangar. And John, this is going to mean that LG is going to have to hold on last for close to 7 minutes. That is not...
This is ridiculous.
That's not a good look.
So what do LG actually do? I feel like they've taken... I think LG have taken 2 team fights now where they've managed to get an early pick-off on someone from Reunited. It's just so tricky for them. They have to keep trying, though. Kib going in very quickly in the back line, spotting the high noon and basically using his deflect, but not quite enough. Icefell takes him out, waiting very patiently for the opportunity there. And now a double kill coming out from Luminosity. They should be able to contain this, but we've seen Reunited win these team fights already this map.
We have, and that was a Indiana Jones moment where he just flashy sword play, and Icefeld just waits, shoots him. It's like, look, gun beats sword. What can I tell you? But good patience from Icefeld to win that fight. Going to the next fight, slight old advantage here to LG. They do have Graviton in the Death Blossom and the Sound Barrier. Reunited, no slash, but here comes the Graviton, and that was Graviton that came out right there. Not sure, but it might have been deflected. But anyways, here comes Sandy, comes in from the back. That's going to be 3 kills here for Reunited as they try and push us forward, but LG staying in it, 2 kills coming in.
And, well, at the moment, it's still 4v4 right now. A little bit delicately poised this, and I think you're absolutely right, CP. I feel like the graphic for both it moving forward and deflecting showed on the screen at the same time.
And just to clarify, that was a deflected Graviton. I was looking at it as like, unless I'm mistaken, that was aggressive. That was a great deflect coming out there from Kib. And this is bad news. You never want that to happen when you're going for a defining ultimate like that. Kib going to the backline, takes out Manitin, looking for a little bit more. And Kib, he's been the hero here, gets a double kill, makes it a triple. A deflected Graviton plus this. You spoil Reunited, Kib, as Reunited will move forward and take game 1 in this best of 5.
And that was the kind of performance on Watchpoint Gibraltar that I think Luminosity were fearing going into this map.
Yeah, and for LG, I mean, they definitely had a better defense than we saw earlier in the day when last time Reunited was on it versus NIP, but in the end, even if they did complete out the map, that would have been a quicker time anyways.
Yeah, exactly right. And we see Saini here getting play of the game. Nice Death Blossom to finish things off here, and one of the beautiful cleanups that we saw from Luminosity, but it wasn't quite enough to contain Reunited. And this was the hook on Lucio at the beginning of that. We'll come back to that when we actually talk analysis in between maps here. But just a couple of the nice in-game highlights. I expect to see Valutaja at some point, but Icefeld as well. Just generally performing quite well despite the loss there for Luminosity.
Yeah, and I hopefully on the highlights here they have a mention of that reflected Graviton, because it's one of the hardest things to catch while casting at times. It's just like, wait a second, they don't have a Zarya. The reflected Graviton, big reason as why Reunited was able to win that team fight in the end.
Yep, and this was the cleanup. So Kib going to be able to move on in off the back of that reflected Graviton and did a tremendous job there. And that was basically the defining moment of the victory. Now, I kind of want to go back to the very first part of that highlight. Luminosity were 6v5 in that initial team fight, and they just got the hook on Lucio, who was running for his life in the other direction, didn't quite manage to get the kill. That's a moment where most teams would go, yeah, that's a reasonable time to collapse on a team and kill them. But at least twice, once there and once in the hangar phase, Luminosity more or less did just that with a numbers advantage, and Reunited wiped them both times. What happened?
what happens is that even when you have a numbers advantage, at heart, Overwatch is still an FPS game, and FPS games have variability. There's quicker times to kill. There's ability to just land more shots than your opponent and pull it back. Even though a team that is up numbers is usually a great indication of what team is going to win a team fight, sometimes it doesn't work out that way. But we're going to be taking a short break. When we come back, it'll be game number 2 of our EU Grand Finals taking place on Ilios. Stay tuned.